a new poll reveals that nearly 40% of US Muslims deny the Hamas atrocities. A new poll conducted by Jail Partners for the Heritage Foundation reveals startling perspectives among US Muslims, particularly regarding Hamas's October 7th attacks on Israel. Despite overwhelming evidence of atrocities, including the murder of 1,200 people, um, 39% of American Muslims deny that Hamas committed such acts, while only 31% acknowledge them, like confirm that they believe them to be true. And then an additional 30% say, I don't know. The survey highlights and further highlights anti-Semitic beliefs, with 57% of U.S. Muslims agreeing that Jews have too much power over U.S. policy, and 58% asserting undue Jewish control over the media. YouTube, we are reporting on the results of a poll for educational purposes. Okay. Just have to give that disclaimer for the algorithm. In contrast, 64% of the general public in contrast, 64% of the general public recognize Hamas's atrocities, showing a sharp divide in perceptions. Additionally, 34% of American Muslims rank the Israeli-Palestinian conflict as their top voting issue of the 2024 election, a stark contrast to the general population, where only 4% actually prioritize this conflict in their voting for this upcoming election. These findings raise concerns about the growing disconnect between communities on critical global issues. So, there's a lot to dig through here. And first of all, and I also want to do kind of a compare and contrast between these results and the results we saw for polling British Muslims, because we covered the results of a similar kind of poll among British Muslims several months ago. And the top finding from that poll found that only 1 in 4 British Muslims actually acknowledge Hamas's atrocities.
What?
Yeah. So, one thing that I think that is important to highlight. So let's just go through the first thing. So basically, in the if you look at the poll, I can pull up the histograms if we want. But basically, if you look at the polling for the statement, Hamas committed murder and rape in Israel on October 7th. Do you agree with that statement? For the general population, it's 64%. For US Muslims, it's 31%. And then saying for the state,
only 60% for the general public? That's
yes.
insane.
And then for the statement, Hamas did not commit murder and rape in Israel on October 7th, US Muslims agree with that statement, 34%. So again, for the people who say that the atrocities did happen, it's 31%. For the people that say that it did not happen, it's 39%. And then versus for the general population, saying that the atrocities did not happen is only 7%. So it's multiples higher. And then for the people that said, I don't know, it was 30% for US Muslims and 29% for the general population. So, because I see a lot of people are saying, like, oh my God, that 30% are saying that they don't even know that the atrocities happened. So therefore, it's actually like 61%, or excuse me, 69% are, denying the atrocities. I don't think that's a fair statement to make, given that the general population said that they did not know, to nearly the same percentage. Right. I think that's important to highlight.
Yes. So the general public is just ignorant, basically. They just think like, what the hell? They just don't know what the whole hell is going on in the world. No, okay.
I mean, I guess I don't know. That might be shocking to some people, but that's honestly not shocking to me. I don't
Yeah,
know if people know the extent to which like the average person is not aware of these things because
right.
it's not a part of their life, you know? So that's actually not surprising to me. Especially considering that when it comes to looking at where the general public ranks this in terms of issues that they're thinking about in terms of the election, the general population said that only like 4% of them prioritize this as an issue when they think about this election. So
Right.
considering that that's the amount of importance that the general population is putting on this, it's not that surprising to me that like 29% say they're like, I don't know, you know, because it's
Mm.
they're not prioritizing. It's not that important to
So
them.
all the investments by the progressives and the student protesters, well, this is why even Kamala Harris is coming aggressively and saying like, you know what, we're backing Israel 100%. Like both candidates are like heavily supporting Israel now because they realize that, yeah, the students, protesters, and the progressives like crying about all these things is not that significant when it comes to the election.
It's really not.
Yeah,
It's really not.
yeah.
It's really not. It's really not. And it's actually embarrassing the extent to which they are openly talking about voting for third party candidates like Jill Stein. I don't know why I pronounced it that way. Jill Stein. um, uh, literally saying out loud that they're doing that so that Trump wins to spite the Democrats. This
Right.
is what you call cutting off your nose to spite your face. That's what we call that. Okay?
Yes, yes.
Um so I also wanted to highlight something that I think is
But
important. So
can I just
go
say,
ahead.
just one sentence? I know I have to move on, but I kind of enjoy the fact that they all made such a big deal about like stopping imperialism, stopping colonialism, stopping
Oh my god,
occupation,
yeah.
stopping apartheid, stopping genocide, and they thought that they were difference makers, and now everybody is like, okay, yeah, ignoring them, like all of that investment that was basically for nothing. So it's kind of, I'm just enjoying that a little bit. Yeah, but go on.
No, here's the thing. Honestly, I think that it didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be this way. But this movement prefers to enact exaggerated, hyperbolic hatred of an established nation state. And a lot of it is just showing how anti Israel you are for show, showing how anti Israel you are for the approval of your in group at the cost of being effective towards recruiting people from the out group into your in group. And why is that happening? Because they're choosing to do this through exaggerated performances and displays to show who has the most fealty towards the dogma, who is the most true to the cause, who is the most pure, ideologically pure. And the problem is that to the outside, exactly, performative activism, and it comes out as impotent rage. And um for people who are unfamiliar with this cause, like most people are, or they're like, I don't know this that much about this conflict. It seems really complicated. There's a lot of history to go through. I don't know which side to believe. It just comes across as impotent rage, and it's very, very unappealing, and people are dead sick and tired of it. We've had over a year of this just impotent rage and the performativity, and people are dead sick and tired of it. So they're just, and the problem is that causes people to dismiss like the cause completely. We see this with like the radical environmentalist activists and with vegan activists. Like the activists that um just stop oil, where they interrupt traffic and they throw cans of
Oh
soup
yeah.
on priceless works of art. There was a poll that showed, basically asked people like, oh, from the actions of this group, are you more or less likely to support climate activism? Are you more or less
I
likely to
want.
support efforts to, address climate change? And people said less.
Yes.
It's a turn off. It's not
Well,
hot, girls. Okay, it's a turn off. People. So this is what sorry, I just need to get this thought out now that you brought it up. This is why I've literally been thinking how I would not wish these allies upon my enemies. Like if I genuinely cared about a cause, this personality type, this ideological mindset, brittle mindset, I would only wish upon any cause that I want to be stomped into the dirt. Like here's the phrase. Who needs enemies when you have friends like this?
mhm.
Who
I
needs
mean,
enemies when you have friends like this? It's insane. And I was thinking about this because back in 2022, when the Massa uprising revolution was happening, I had so much anger in my heart because I was seeing before my very eyes the dereliction of duty of the entire progressive movement towards this cause on a large scale. There were some progressives that were, kind of into it, but it was mostly Iranians who were progressive, not the progressive movement itself at large, not supporting the woman life freedom movement in Iran. I was furious. I couldn't believe the hypocrisy. And now I'm like, thank God they didn't pay attention to that cause. I
mm.
don't want them to touch the woman life freedom cause because they are so
So
fucking toxic and they destroy everything they touch.
isn't that a
It's like a
good thing
death
though
sentence.
for us? Because they are like these are anti-Israeli people, and they're just toxic to their own movement. So we're kind of lucky because they're taking down their own movement. Like when people were showing the protesters, these so-called pro-Palestinian protesters in the streets, and they were like, "Oh my God, these people are annoying! Like what the hell?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, let them annoy everyone. Let them destroy their movement. I mean, this is great. Please go ahead. Like the anti-Israeli movement, the more annoying they are, the better it is for Israel. Let them go and make people feel turned off of this whole Palestinian cause. Let them sink that ship. Why not? Go ahead, do your thing."
I know, but I still think that it's a loss in the sense of like, there are people that are genuinely suffering. And like, I care about that,
Yes.
right?
Wait. Well, yeah.
And
That's what.
so people
Yeah,
are
but
going to be abandoning like the people that are genuinely suffering because their friends are like the best enemy you could ever have. Like,
well, no, no. The best friends, the actual best friends, is Israel, right? So when I say like yes, it's not because I don't care for the suffering of the Palestinians. I'm saying that the best way to end the suffering of the Palestinians is to let Israel do its thing. Let Israel destroy Hezbollah and Hamas. So if these anti-Israeli movements are basically paralyzed, Israel will have more freedom to go in and just basically finish the job, and basically,
no.
that would be better for Palestinians as well. Yeah, yeah. It's not for a
Yeah.
lack of caring. Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
but yeah, moral of the story of my miniature rant is that I am so happy that these people actually completely abandoned the woman life freedom cause. Thank God. Stay the fuck out. Oh my God.
Yeah, get yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
As my family from the South would say, yeah.
Wait,
Um,
okay. So there are some
mhm.
comments that Dee have picked for us. Should we read them? So this is
Yeah,
a
so this
reaction.
person on Twitter reacting to the poll is saying, oh, 30% who did not know are also in the deniers category. Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't think that's a fair criticism considering that 29% of the general population also did not know.
Mhm.
That's not a
Okay.
fair criticism. That's on par with
Okay.
the general public.
What is this one?
Oh, okay. So this is a part of the poll that I haven't gotten to yet. So this poll examined many, many other things. And so let's dig through this. So it asked about a bunch of other beliefs among US Muslims, and one of them was Muslim identity politics. Okay? So Armin, just listen to these stats. Um Muslims proved more likely to support making it illegal to show a picture or cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad at 50% versus the general public, which was 14%. They proved more likely to support the formation of a Muslim political party, for 46%, than the general public, only 9%. They backed the implementation of Sharia law, 39%, more than the general public at 10%. They
Why?
also supported declaring Islam America's national religion at 33%, more than the general public, which is 9%. And so this person here is asking, why on earth would 10% of the general population support Sharia?
Yeah, why?
Only
Like, why? 10% of Americans who are not like Americans, 10, that's a high number. 1 in 10 Americans is like, yeah, I'm not a Muslim, but let's establish Sharia law. What the hell
hell
is wrong
yeah.
with this going?
Sharia.
What is what is going on? Can you explain this to me? Can somebody explain this?
I genuinely
But
do not know. I genuinely do not know. Um
okay.
I I I just found that hilarious. Um
Yeah.
they maybe just don't know what it means. Maybe they just
It's
don't
like
even know.
maybe
um
they're just trying to be nice. They're like, what is Sharia? It's an Islamic thing. It's like, oh, maybe am I a racist for saying no to this?
yeah, yeah. Or maybe
I'm
they
like,
think it's
okay,
like,
sure,
okay, well yeah,
whatever.
let them do what they want to do.
Oh
That's
my
fine.
god.
The
Oh
night
god.
the night of American Sharia is upon us, you guys. Um there
So we
was
don't
some
even
more.
need to get so this actually is very promising to so many Muslims because Muslims are do not have high percentages in the US as much as they have in Europe. But maybe they don't need to they don't need to establish Sharia. You don't need to have a high percentage of Muslims in the United States. You just need to get other Americans. It's like, sure, why not? Let's have Sharia.
Yeah, it's fine.
I guess, yeah, why not? I mean, I'm not a Muslim, but I mean,
Um
we could try.
and for the record,
But oh,
many Muslims opposed these policies. 31% opposed implementing Sharia, 32% opposed declaring Islam the national religion. But the general
right.
public opposed them far more vigorously. I mean, unsurprisingly, at 56 and 68%, respectively. And, you know, it's worth repeating that like interpretations of Sharia vary a lot. So what people mean,
Yeah.
and
So
also a lot of people don't have, even Muslims don't have a thorough understanding of what Sharia entails.
I
So
do though.
yeah, there I think that we should keep in mind that there's a possibility that people approve of it because they know that they should
Hmm.
versus being really familiar with what it entails.
Right. And also, can I just make it clear? If a Muslim is saying that they don't want Sharia, okay, they're not doing taqiyya. Okay, they're just they're just too busy living. Okay, they might be Muslim, but it's not a big part of their life, and they kind of like their life as it is, and they kind of know that, like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm praying, I'm fasting, I am, I may be like, yeah, that's basically it. I'm praying and fasting. That there's nothing else, right? But I don't want Sharia in this land. This is working out for me. I don't like. I'm pretty sure if we have Sharia in this land, things will be effed up, right? So, I mean, they're just minimalist or depending either minimalist or nominal Muslims, and they're just like too busy living to want Sharia to be like. It's not taqiyya. It's just them being minimalist or nominal Muslims. These are the two categories that I've created myself, right? So that's
Like
what it
the
is. Yeah.
accusations of Takia are possibly the most cringe thing in the world, and I would encourage anyone who's just randomly ranting about Takia to cut it out because you are legitimately cringe. You make me
But
cringe.
you know who does the most taqiyya accusations? Like
Who?
the people that are Sunni Muslims,
Towards
like
Shia?
towards Shias. Like you think like people think like the people like, oh, they're doing taqiyya. They think like, oh, maybe like I don't know, right-leaning people do that against Muslims the most. It's not true. The most accusation of taqiyya, because Sunnis actually hate taqiyya, right? And every time Shia says something, I see Sunnis like, oh, is a freaking Shia doing taqiyya again? So that's the main people who do the accusation of taqiyya, Sunnis towards Shia. Yeah.
Yeah. Ahmed is
Oh,
saying, when I was a Muslim, I didn't even know what Takia is. A lot of
yes.
Muslims don't know about it. Yeah.
Same. When I was in
So
Muslim, I didn't get
that's
that.
just a reminder to stop being cringe and accusing random people of Takia, everyone. I highly encourage
Wait,
that. And if you want to criticize Islam, encourage and criticize it on the things that are actually like real and
well, I mean,
consistent. And
to be fair, it would be fair to criticize some Shia scholars or some Shia people who know this concept. It is used, okay, but it's not just widely used. It is used by certain by the ulama or activists or certain people who justify it. It's not like it's not a thing. It is a thing. It's just not as common as people think it is. Yeah.
Armin, the people ranting this accusation in live chats and YouTube comments are not talking about that group of scholars.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm just
Come on.
talking. I'm just saying that for the people who are listening, who are more nuanced. I just want to say, like, not all accusations of taqiyya is false.
Mhm.
Sometimes the accusation is actually correct.
Can I also highlight one last statistic that
Yes.
surprised me? Okay, so one of the questions was also basically examining the views in response to this question or the statement, which was Jewish students on college campuses who openly support Israel are not valid targets on college campuses, or they are valid targets. And so 46% of Muslims and 48% of the general population said that Jewish students are not valid targets versus 23% of both US Muslims and the general public said that yes, they are valid targets. And then
What the what?
31% and 29% said they don't know.
Wait, valid targets for what?
Um it doesn't say for what. I guess just being targeted. Like for
Well,
it doesn't,
for what?
based on the results of the poll that were released, because I looked through it, it doesn't specify targeted for what. I guess like harassment or counter protest.
Okay, wow, that's worrying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Can you also address this comment here that Dee highlighted?
oh, I mean, it's just more nonsense. I mean,
False
what is there
flag
to say?
events.
More people like we have questions of how people denying that it happened, or people
Mm,
don't deny that it happened. They just say it's false flag.
yeah. Anyways, all right. So we have to. So Amirs was asking, do they deny it happened? This or deny that it was an atrocity? Like today, so the 40, talking about the 40%, the 40% of Muslims who deny. Yeah.
Based on the way that it was asked, it does not ask if you view it to be an atrocity. It's did Hamas commit rape and murder on October 7th? Yes or no?
Guys, a lot of you say that 40% is lower than what you expected. 40% is freaking high. 40% is insanely high. like that is a huge problem. So it's not. Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we understand. And okay, so we have 2 new members. Oh, I don't even know if I want to read that
I'm not
username.
saying that
What's it?
username out loud.
Yeah. What? I did not even notice the username before but thank you for being a member. What the hell? Okay. Do you want to say this username? I don't even know how to pronounce this. But thank you
Diogenes
for
Sinope? I
yeah.
don't know. Just became a
What?
YouTube member. Thank you both for becoming YouTube members. Welcome to
Thank
Satan's
you.
Minions, which is a good reminder, everyone, that one of the best ways to support the show is to become a YouTube member. You can do that by hitting the join button down below. You get access to our members only content and our special emojis, which I'm quite the fan of. And you help make sure that this show and all of our other programming can continue, which includes our entire Persian language channel, other channels in other languages, supporting our entire team, because it's a lot more than just me and Armin.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.